One of the things that students that come in 229 may not know is that there is very extensive preparation that is done during the summer to get the labs done and set up not only the lab exercise that the students are going to do, but also the grading scripts, the solutions. There is something called Check My Lab that they will want to make it active for that the students can use. And this job is done largely by students that have recently taken 229. So I usually hire students that have done well in the class to work during the summer. They do work in research, but part of their job is also to revise and improve and change the labs from one year to the next. So what I'm going to do now is walk into the systems lab that's just around here in Computing Science Center, and we're going to talk with some of the students that have taken 229 in the fall of 2017 and that are working this summer on improving the labs. So here we have Jason and Mohammed. So can you tell me what are you doing this summer for the fall of 2018?
Well, I am working on labs 3 and 5, which are the liveness analysis and the register obliterate lab.
So what's interesting about those labs?
Well, they're interesting because well, they're kind of cool. They get you to work on the actual MIPS code itself. You can give it a program that either you've written or someone else has written, and it can tell you a lot of information about the program, like a lot of higher level like stack analysis that can be really useful in debugging or optimization.
So did you do labs similar to this in last fall?
Yeah, I did. I did some pretty similar labs. I also did a similar liveness analysis.
And what is the main things that you learned from the liveness analysis that you did not know before?
A lot. Those labs were the labs that really teach you MIPS and debugging. I learned how to properly debug my code, how to make sure that I isolated everything properly and actually went down and thought about my code before writing. I learned really good debugging. I really learned about a lot of stack analysis and liveness techniques, and overall just a lot of patience.
Okay, so from your work in the summer, what has changed and how will the labs be better for the next term?
Well, we made the labs better by making them hopefully a lot more like coherent and making them so that it's a little bit more fleshed out, and some of the smaller details are not as annoying.
And is it debugging too?
The debugging, we did add a lot more debugging to help make it easier to hopefully follow the flow of your program and make it more about the actual algorithm rather than am I missing a 1 or a 0 here or there. Okay,
well, do you have any advice for students that may want to do something before the semester starts to get ready for 229?
Focus on learning MIPS, like that.
And the simulator?
And the simulator, that will definitely help a lot. Install it, learn it, but also just make sure you understand how to just work through some algorithms. Like maybe learn how to make like a sorting algorithm in MIPS or something that will just allow you to actually look at an algorithm and how to break it down and solve it in MIPS. What steps do I have to transition from like C code or Python code or Java or wherever you used to actually breaking it down to the MIPS code and the actual assembly itself would help.
That's very good advice, because yesterday in the vlog I told the students that we're going to be using lots of assembly programming, but we expect them to learn it and to do it themselves. So here we have Mohammed now. Mohammed also took 229 in the fall of 2017.
Jason's class.
Same class as Jason. And tell us what you're doing for this fall.
So this fall I'm working on the labs 2 and 4 for the next term, which are the Julia Fractal, and lab 4 will be the Game of Life. These are, I think, the fun labs to implement because they do have graphics, and that's quite a big deal because graphics aren't really a thing in this kind of computer architecture, right? So Lab 2 in particular, we go from simple MIPS syntax with that you learned in Lab 1 to actual calling library functions, which is obviously a big deal. And then we build on from that in Lab 4, where we do the same thing, but we also do exception handling. So you get some cool stuff like...
So what's the cool thing about exception handling?
So the cool thing is then you could implement actual game movement, like you could move your cursor, you could make it do cool stuff. You can have nice animations that you'll see.
So you can actually program the interaction between the assembly program with a human, right? With the times and interruptions and such.
Yeah.
And right now you see in the screen here is just a very simple graphics there
Yep.
that Mohammed is working. But actually it's a game that he's playing. And our expectation is that all students in 229 should be able to build this the game pretty much from scratch.
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
we do give them quite a bit of help, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of instructions to get it all set up. It should be a good project if you are dedicated to it.
Okay, do you have any additional advice beyond what Jason just said to
I
students?
think the biggest advice would be to get help if you do need it. That is, because you will get stuck probably somewhere. But if you can ask your TA or Nelson, then you'll figure it out for sure. It's
And I
very-
think the other thing is you start early,
yeah, start
right?
early. start
This
early.
is not a class to wait
Yeah,
2 or 3
no.
weeks to get started
Yeah,
on.
these aren't the typical labs. These actually do take quite a bit of time.
Okay. Okay, so thank you. And here in the lab we also have some other 229 students. They are doing research these days. Brady and Tyler was also in the fall, and Art and Act will be teaching you for a few weeks. Okay.